Madaki. Let's look at this from a legal standpoint and perspective. What is going on here?
Okay, thank you very much, Dapo, for having me. I think what we are seeing here is the development of democracy and constitution in action. You have a situation where the arms of government are exercising their various duties and functions under the law, and then the process of watch of each arm of government watching the other has come into place. But I think the furor that has generated over the removal of the Chief Judge of Benue State, my Lord Justice Maurice Ikpambase, is one that perhaps we have not really paid attention to the issues that were raised by Benue State House of Assembly, and have rather gone to town more with the noise, with all due respect, on the issues that have gone in. Because I believe that if you take a closer look to the issues that were raised and the procedure that was adopted by the House, it's going to be very, very clear that this was a House that was minded by law and taking actions in a way that they feel is proper to resolve an issue that they feel offends the principles that are enshrined in the Constitution.
There's also the issue of course, this individuals been described as engaging in dishonourable actions and abuse of power. I mean, these are pretty strong-worded, accusations. I would like you to please expand on it, particularly from the scope of the law. Is there strength to this?
Okay, so the legislature, like all arms of government, has its own regulations, internal mechanisms within which it operates. From the National Assembly, the Senate is guarded by the Senate rules, the House of Reps by the House rules, and every House of Assembly in the country is also regulated and guarded by its own rules. So I want to believe that the Speaker and the House, after going through its own rules, realized that the statement that was issued by the 13 lawmakers, after a number of them had partaken in the process to remove the Chief Judge, amounts to a breach of the rules and the regulations of the House, and perhaps that is the appropriate penalty that comes in for the breach of such regulations. Now, let's be mindful that the process, when it took part, the number required by the Constitution was gotten. There were 23 members that voted. So at what point did 13 come out of it? So if you take a closer look at it, you see that there's some level of mischief going on here, and I think the Speaker and the House is on the right track in the steps they have taken to try to safeguard the integrity of the House.
All right, there seems to be a trend. Now, I'm not just talking of Benue State now, but I'm talking of across the country. For instance, in Lagos State, there is some sort of a crisis, at the State House. In Port Harcourt, we saw what also happened at the State House, and now Benue State. What does this reflect of our democracy as a country?
Okay, so for me, I think, like I said in my opening statement, this relates to development and growth in democracy. If the various provisions of the constitutions are not tested here and there, you never know how functional we are. Remember that in Benue State, the whole issue here revolves around the steps that were taken by the House of Assembly to remove the Chief Judge under Section 292 of the Constitution. Now, perhaps I should digress a little bit to that matter. There has been wide position and voices and condemnation under the actions of the House from various quarters, the Nigerian Bar Association, led by the Mazi Afam Osigwe SN, issued a statement. The Macaulay branch of the association leaned on that as well. And we also saw a statement released by the NJC. Now, I'd like to point out that perhaps they've not taken a closer look to what happened in the House. If you review section 2921A, sub 2 of the Constitution, it makes provision for the removal of the head of courts in a state. It could be the chief judge, it could be the grand Qadi of the Sharia court where there are Sharia courts, or the president of the Court of Appeal where that is in place. So the House, through its actions yesterday, made 3 prayers that related to 1, the removal of the chief judge, 2, the referring of his case to the NJC so that they should investigate and return. Now, the point I'm trying to make here, there's a difference in the removal of the chief judge of the state from the removal of a judicial officer. A chief judge is an appointment that is made from within the existing judicial officers in a state, while a judicial officer gets to that position by virtue of his recommendation by the NJC and appointment by the governor. If you look closely to the provisional section, the NJC is not mentioned in the process that allows the governor to remove the chief judge. But the NJC is mentioned directly under sub 2 in the process of removing a judicial officer from his office. So you have a situation where 1, to remove the chief judge from his position as the head of the court in the state.
Okay.
And then 2, to remove entirely from his role as a judicial officer. So I think there's some little bit of mix-up, and that needs to be clarified here, that the actions that were taken yesterday by the Benue State House of Assembly, in my opinion, and according to what the Constitution provides, were proper, and reference has been made to the NJC. It is for us to sit back now and look at how the NJC comes in to evaluate to see whether or not my lord can be asked to remain as a judicial officer or not, having been removed as the head of the court in the state.
Okay, now, before I let you go, Mr. Madaki, quickly, with all of this development at the House, how much of an impact do you think this would have on governance in the state?
Okay, so the governance, that relates entirely to governance and politics get to work hand in hand. The people of Benue State, ably led by the governor, His Excellency Reverend Father Hyacinth Aondona Dajoh, has brought in a total shift from the usual doldrums of all talk and no work governance of the yesteryears. If you go to Benue today, what you find is essentially a construction site across all parts of the country. Issues relating to salaries and wages of workers in the state that used to be very difficult to understand now get settled before the end of the month. Go all the way to the improvement of education, health services, and all manner of things. The little issues we have that relate to security are also challenges that are currently efforts are being made to overcome. Now, when you discuss this issue and the efforts that are being made by the governor to bring the state to the level and the glory position that it deserves, you cannot omit the fact that the politics that is being played, only within the APC itself, within the state. You have a situation where the APC now has 2 brands. There is one that is operated and sponsored from the people that are based, the strong men that are based in Abuja, and then the other ones that we call the masses, that are solidly and 100% behind the governor in supporting him to deliver good governance.
All right.
Just yesterday, Senator Abamoro on the floor, I think after session, the senator representing Zone C of Benue State made a call that the National Assembly should take over the affairs of the Benue State House of Assembly. Very unfortunate, in my opinion, because if he was basing that on the fact that the House took steps to protect its integrity by issuing out penalties to erring members, then what is he going to say today about how the Senate President acted with Senator Natasha Akpoti when he ordered that she should be taken away from the floor of the House, floor of the Senate, apparently for a breach or not of the Senate rules.
But
so
Barrister Madaki,
there's an issue where Abuja wants to come into the state and take over everything, and the masses behind the governor without good governance.
Barrister Madaki, Gwaza-Michael, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for your time. Lawyer and public affairs analyst, thank you once again.